Whoopie dee scoop, scoop dee dee whoop, whoop dee scoop dee poop, poop dee scoop dee whoop, whoopie dee scoop whoop poop.
I'm your host, my son, and welcome back to The Shit Show. Yes, this is a blog/podcast that I am dedicating to the next 4 years of Trump's presidency because I am sure it is going to be a shit show. In his first month, he has not disappointed. Yes, it has been a complete shit show. Now, first, I want to talk about this because I know it's been talked about, but I haven't seen anyone really break this down. This first visit that he has with Elon Musk inside the White House. Now, Elon Musk walks into the White House. He's dressed like he in the street. He got his son with him. Everybody else got suits on. You can actually see from this video that Elon Musk is the president of the United States. Make no mistake, Trump is a figurehead, but Elon Musk is running the United States. Look at this video, and I want you to pay attention to the demeanor. I want you to pay attention to the stature. I want you to pay attention to Trump's inferior demeanor. I want you to pay attention to what Elon Musk's son, X, says to Trump. Now, you pay attention and you be the judge.
At a high level, if you say, what is the goal of Doge, and I think a significant part of this of presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, you would have to, if you it's all right. So, I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes.
Now listen, I don't know if this is what he said, but this is what's being said. So I'm not going to say that it's sure he's saying this, but the word is that Elon Musk's ex-son tells Trump to go away and shut your mouth. You're not the president. Now, I cannot confirm nor deny, but if you look real closely right here, it definitely looks like he says that.
To restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? To restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy?
Like, once again, I'm not saying that's what he said because I can't confirm nor deny, but it definitely looks like. But what I do know is that Elon Musk does not respect Trump. If you look at his demeanor, he's speaking way more than Trump is speaking in this meeting. He is dictating what's going on inside of this thing. And then there's this interview that he had with Bibi Netanyahu. And listen to what he says in this and see what you think.
So if you were, well, you can't be president of the U.S. last time I checked, right? But assume you are.
Not officially.
Not officially. Okay, so you're the unofficial president.
Now listen, the richest man in the world is calling the shots. He's firing everybody, and Trump is sitting down watching it. And this is the president that y'all voted for. This is the person that y'all said was the businessman. He was the best person for the job. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Like, this shit is hilarious. You have to laugh to keep from crying that we have oligarchies inside of our administration who are completely running this country from a billionaire perspective to make billionaires more billions. They're firing the average everyday people who that went to college and went to school to get their jobs in the federal government, and they wanted to work, and this was their dream job, and they told these people at the strike of a pen that you no longer have a job. And this is what y'all voted for. This is what y'all said was best for America. Welcome to The Shit Show. Now listen to what the MSNBC commentator Lawrence O'Donnell says about Trump. And listen to it very clear, because this is exactly what I'm thinking. He's saying exactly. And what he says about Elon. Elon has made millions of claims that billions of dollars are being stolen from the government and they're taking your tax money. But yet, he hasn't shown you one person who took it. He's telling you that a 150-year-old man's still getting Social Security, but he can't tell you the name of the individual. He hasn't given you any proof. He's just throwing shit out, and you people are grabbing it, and because you can't wait to believe something. And this is the first strategy of dictatorship. They make you completely disagree and have disbelief and distrust in your government and make you believe that they're the people who are doing things on behalf of you. This is how they create dictatorship. Just pay attention to what Lawrence O'Donnell says.
There's absolutely no proof that Elon Musk has found a single record of what he was describing today at Social Security. Donald Trump claims that the federal government has contracts that are supposed to last 3 months, but they keep being paid for the next 20 years. That's what he said today. Show us the contract. Show us the payment for 20 years. It is a lie from Donald Trump until it is proven true and unless it is proven true. The Senate Finance Committee that has jurisdiction over the United States Treasury knows exactly how to investigate such payments. And they know exactly what they're looking at when they look at Treasury records. And the Senate Finance Committee staff has not seen any of this. They're the professionals who know how to evaluate it. After Donald Trump claimed that there are recipients being overpaid by the federal government, he said he thinks there's a lot of kickbacks, to which Elon Musk said, quote, "There's a lot of kickbacks. They made that up. They have zero evidence of a single kickback to a single person. They are telling their followers that there are corrupt officials in the United States Treasury who can be bribed to continue paying on contracts that have expired." Elon Musk said today in the Oval Office with Donald Trump's eyes closed while pretending to listen to him, that to cut $1 trillion requires, quote, competence and caring. Those were Elon Musk's words. Competence and caring. Cutting the entire budget of the United States Agency for International Development is not an example of competence or caring. Donald Trump will not take Gaza, he will not take Canada, he will not take Greenland, and he will not take Panama. That is the nonsense that Donald Trump throws out there to try to distract the news media from what he really is doing, which includes literally taking food away from starving babies, from starving children, starving grandparents. And the person who is helping him do that stood over Donald Trump in the White House today, thereby delivering a picture of presidential subservience, the likes of which we have never seen, the most powerless image of a president of the United States ever created by a camera. There it is. In that shot, Elon Musk is doing everything he possibly can to tell the world, without saying a word, that Donald Trump is not the boss of me. Donald Trump is the boss of the other adults in that shot, Stephen Miller and Will Scharf, and that's why they are following Donald Trump's lead on the dress code for the Oval Office, which is the same dress code that has existed for every previous president. Donald Trump is your boss. You don't talk more than Donald Trump in a business meeting with Donald Trump. Elon Musk spoke 3,666 words. Donald Trump spoke 2,487 words. Mike Pence never had a day like that in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. J.D. Vance will never have a day like that in the Oval Office with Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is the boss of J.D. Vance.
Now, like, when you write, you write. But you know, MAGA people are going to say, oh, you just hating, Trump is in the president now, get over it, man. Y'all just mad, he won the presidency, so get over it. Once again, I'll tell you, winning the presidency doesn't mean that America's constituents and people, citizens of America, should be quiet now that someone won the presidency. Now you have to have demands. Now you pay attention to what the Trump does. And that's what the problem is. Most of you people elect people and go to sleep and think this is like a basketball game and it's a 5-game series and your team win and they go home. No, dummy. This is your world. This is America. These people are making laws that are affecting your life every day. You don't just go to sleep because the candidate that you didn't want to win won. No, you get more active. You go outside and say, well, listen, this is what I need for my people. This is what we need. This is the education system. And speaking of education, do you know that Trump gives schools 2 weeks to end all race-based initiatives, part of the DEI? Now listen. There are so many people telling me DEI doesn't affect black people. It don't help black people. What we care about DEI? It help white women. It help Latino. It help gay people. It help LGBT. It help everybody. But it don't help black people. This is probably one of the dumbest conversations that people have. When we look about DEI, when we look about affirmative action, when we look about all of these laws and why they actually were created, they were created because black people, marginalized communities, and other people who come from communities that historically didn't get opportunities to be in positions were being X'd out, right? So these laws were made to even the playing field, to give qualified individuals opportunities for success. Once again, diversity, equity, inclusion was derived so that qualified individuals had opportunities for success. It wasn't derived just because you're a black person and you ain't doing nothing, we just put you in a position. No, it's educated black people who were educated, they were the top of their class, and they weren't able to get in corporations. They weren't able to go to the top schools that assured that you had financial stability, that assured that you were able to create generational wealth. They weren't able to get into those facilities. So they created programs like DEI, that gave people opportunities to do that. So when you take that out, now you give these oligarchs and you give these white supremacists the right to tell qualified, overqualified black people that we don't want to hire you because we don't have to, basically. And we want to keep having this corporation and this company look white. And people will say, yo, just build your own. And that shit sounds easy. It sounds like the best thing. But once I want you to take this stat.
But this is a true statistic right here, y'all. In 1865, when slavery was abolished, black people were less than 1% of this nation's wealth. Today, in 2011, black people are less than 1% of this nation's wealth. We need to have a damn meeting.
And you look around and you see millionaires and you think everybody, no. It is a distraction. It is a false narrative. The pull yourself by your own bootstraps mentality only works when you have bootstraps. The average black person in America is living below poverty. And you're asking these people to build structures and become entrepreneurs and invest money that they don't have to make money. And it's not realistic. Capitalism is not the answer to our financial freedom. It's not the answer, because first thing we have to have is unity. First thing we have to have is an agenda. First thing we have to have is a collective agenda and a collective strategy to create universal and generational wealth. Just us, me, individuals saying, I'm gonna go get my money, you get your, no. We have to come up with strategies to where we control our communities, where we're moving in unison. So when people keep saying, yo, it's gonna make us, we're gonna have to get up and do, but the reality is the average person is not. The average person in marginalized communities, he's gonna rob somebody. He's going to commit a crime because that's the closest thing, proximity, that he can get money, immediate money. These jobs that you're talking about, they don't have $10,000 and $15,000 to invest in the stock market. They don't have $5,000 to invest in the stock market. They don't have the money that it takes to start up a business, because the average business fails within 2 years because the average person doesn't have the finances to continue that business. These are realities. We could keep selling people fantasies. It's like telling every kid, you go to camp, and there's 1,000 kids in that camp, right? And you saying, and they all in the same year high school, you say all of y'all can go to the league. Well, everybody can't go to the league because the NBA only has 300 players every year that they draft. So 700 of y'all ain't making it. I don't give a fuck how much you think, you're not making it. So if we're gonna have conversations, they have to come from a space of reality. We have to deal with life on life's terms. And life terms, and the data says that the average black individual is not going to be an entrepreneur. He's not going to open his business, right? And just like the data says that the average white person is not going to do it. But the average white person has a closer proximity to finances and to success and to resources. So their brothers and their brothers and their cousins are going to give them the opportunity to create resources. They're going to be able to get those jobs to where they're able to survive and they're not living below the poverty line. And this is the reality that we live in. So please stop telling us to pull ourselves by our own bootstraps. Dr. King said,
I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
In other news, Trump tells Hamas to turn over all the hostages or all hell is going to break loose. He said he doesn't want one or two because that was the deal. The original deal was they were supposed to give away 2 or 3 at a time. And then Hamas said, whoa, we need to slow down because you're not letting aid come into the communities. There's still bombing. There's still things going on that violate the agreement. So now Trump again, like he said, after he said a couple of weeks ago that America should control the Gaza Strip, and we're gonna put hotels and things, we're gonna make it beautiful because it's tore up, and we just gonna get all the Palestinians to just move. Now that made sense to him. And these are and there are people that told me that Trump is gonna end wars, that Trump is going to be the person that does all this. It doesn't sound like somebody who's trying to end the war. When you tell people that if you don't, by Saturday, that was a couple days ago now, they ain't doing nothing yet. I don't know what's happening, but he said if by Saturday noon, all hostages aren't released, all hell is going to break loose. That does not sound like somebody who's trying to end the war. It doesn't sound like somebody who wants to be peaceful, but this is what y'all voted for. Y'all telling me. There are people that told me that Trump was the best person because Trump was going to end wars. And Trump was going to do all these things to the finances. But hey, you listen to Trump and tell me if this sounds like somebody who's trying to end the war.
Reiterating his threats once again.
As far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
I'm not the smartest person, and I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, but that doesn't sound like somebody who's trying to end the war to me. It sounds like someone who's in cahoots with Netanyahu, who planned prior to this election to do what he's doing now and let Netanyahu run wild. But hey, only time will tell. So we got to continue to watch the shit show to see if I'm right. Now let's talk about Eric Adams. This is a rough one for me. Because, I hate to be the person that talk about a black man. Like, I've sat down with Eric Adams. I'm good friends with people within this administration. It really hurts me to have this conversation. I've been kind of quiet. I've been just trying to observe because, listen, everybody, Trump had fucking 34 felonies. Nobody said nothing about him. So, Eric Adams, he had a charge. Cool. Innocent until proven guilty. He needed to have his day in court like everybody else. This is usually a ploy that they use against black men, especially black mayors. And all of them in this position, they usually have the same fate. They put a case on them. So cool. I was not speaking on that because although I have some fundamental differences with the way that Eric Adams deals, especially in policing in New York City, I believe that he needed an opportunity like every other white man got an opportunity. He couldn't do no worse than they did. But that was until this week. Now listen, I get it. He didn't want to go to jail. He's seen the chips was a little stacked against him, but to kiss the ring of Trump, right? To kiss the ring of Trump, okay, cool. You negotiated with Trump for whatever deal. You was giving ICE, you was gonna put ICE on Rikers Island. You negotiated these deals. I thought it was bullshit. But the thing that really hurt me, I wasn't gonna say anything, but the thing that really hurt me was listening to this man, Tom Homan, speak about Eric Adams. Listen to this.
Talking about the new alliance between ICE and Adams. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Alliance was never severe.
Yeah, and if he doesn't come through,
you're up early anyway.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, "Where the hell is the agreement we came to?"
Now listen. One thing I always have respected about Eric Adams was his willingness to stand up. in the face of adversity, whether you fucked with him or not, he always had something smart to say. He always stood up. He stood up like a black man. He had his back straight. Even when I disagreed with him, we sat at the drink champ. Shout out to Nori. We had an interview. We went back and forth. We agreed to disagree. We agreed on some things. We said we're going to try to work on some things. We handshake as men. But listening to this white man say he's going to be up his butt and laugh, right? Knowing that even in this deal that he's cutting, that these charges are not just going away. They're going to try to get them dismissed for now and then hold it over your head and dangle it over your head like a little carrot. Like, to see him diminished, to see his manhood diminished from what I did have respect. Because a lot of times you don't have to agree with everybody, but you can have a level of respect on how someone stands up for what they believe in. Because just because we have different beliefs, if you believe something that I don't, and you stand firm in your conviction and your belief, I have to respect it. I don't have to agree with it. I don't even have to like it, but I have to respect the fact that you are strong enough and willing enough to stand on your convictions and stand up like a man. But listening to the way this man was speaking to Eric Adams, in a posture that he had with Eric Adams, it made me lose so much respect for him. I still don't wish jail on no one, but I think that it's very disheartening and alarming watching the way Eric Adams is moving. 4 people from his administration just resigned this morning, and it's looking bad. It's really looking bad, and I hate to see this. But Eric, man, straighten your back up, man. Stand up. Fix your crown. You out here looking crazy. Win, lose, or draw, man. Be a man. Be the man that you've always been. Even when people disagree with you, you as a man. They done called you all these things, and you stood firm on TV, and you always had something slick to say, and you always stood up. But you didn't do it this time. You let that white man make you look like you were cowering to him. You let that white man made it look like that you were defeated. And it's disappointment. It's a disappointment to us all. And last but certainly not least, egg prices. Egg prices continue to crack record highs, says the USDA. Egg prices soar as bird flu continues to spread. The wholesale average price for eggs has increased 40 cents to $7.40 per dozen in the last 30 days. Trump got in and promised that the egg prices was going to go down. Not only didn't the egg prices go down, they actually went up. Trump got in and promised a bunch of shit and has delivered on nothing but deporting immigrants and made you believe that the immigrant was your black ass problem. Trump succeeded in misdirection. This meme right here says it all. Just look at this meme. These people is playing us, and Trump is one of the best puppet masters. Well, I'm gonna say Elon is one of the best puppet masters I've ever seen. These billionaires got us fighting over the one cookie, well, they got it all. This is definitely a shit show.
Whoopie scoop, scoop dee whoop, whoop dee scoop dee poop, poop dee scoop dee whoop, whoopie dee scoop whoop.